When you think of a platinum run, you usually think of stressful combat, decision parrying, and well, sheer pain. But today, we aren't going to be seeing any of that. Look, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I didn't want to have a mental breakdown on my first hunt, so I chose to take it easy on myself with something new and also something a little bit more forgiving. At least that's what I thought. Today, we're going to be looking at Atelier Sophie. This JRPG is developed by Gust. For anyone who's new to this, Sophie is an inspiring alchemist who meets a sentient book named Plakta. The goal is to help Plakta regain her memories by filling out the book that her memories reside in. Seems pretty simple, right? Well, let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right into this for my first platinum trophy hunt. The game starts with Sophie finishing up on her break. We head back inside and we get the first look at one of the main core mechanics of the game, the cauldron. After this cutscene, Sophie's friend walks in, Monica. She has a request from Horst, the owner of the local inn. This is basically a tutorial to get us used to the crafting mechanics of the game, something that we'll heavily rely on even at the end of the game. This also unlocks the first recipe in the book, which is called Berg Medicine, which is one of the few collectibles that we need to worry about. So after whipping up that medicine pretty quick and running it over to Horst, Sophie comes back to her house to find the book she's just written in is floating and talking. This event earns us the first trophy of the game, meeting the mysterious book. After this, we're told that Sophie used up all her ingredients to make that medicine for Horst. So after a few cutscenes, we head out and start exploring the world in hopes of finding materials for synthesizing. To which we run into Monica. She officially joins our party, and after this, I did some more exploring the local town. And while exploring this town, I ran into Marguerite, and this is pretty much the moment where things went bad for me. My capture card decides to die. And it was actually about 45 minutes after this I realised the capture card had stopped working, so I then had to restart the entire game to make sure I had the footage of me playing. Looking through the trophy history of the game, I noticed that I'd actually missed a trophy whilst the capture card had broken. This is me earning that trophy. And with the capture card mishaps finally behind us, we head back into the game, for which we announce to Marguerite that we're going to go gathering. This is then what leads us to a lovely open world. Once we're into this open world, we then head to Chick Woods. And once we're in Chick Woods, we run into another cutscene with another character that joins our party, this time by the name of Oscar. After this, we're thrown into our first battle, this with a slime monster. This earns us the trophy that we mentioned previously due to the capture card mishap. Once we return from Chick Woods, we're greeted with a series of cutscenes. The first one is where we introduce the party members that we've just acquired to Plakta. The second one then is where Sophie asks Plakta to teach her everything about alchemy. After those cutscenes, we do a small amount of synthesizing with a few basic items that we've just collected from our gathering expedition. After that, we then figure out that we have a recipe book which we actually need to fill out and unlock recipes for. After looking through the recipe book, we head off and we see Horst. We get some requests from the request board, and then we head straight off out and start hunting more monsters, as well as gathering more materials. These materials will be used to synthesize more items that are in the recipe book. While we're going through that rinse and repeat action, we run into another cutscene. This is where Monica introduces us to Pamela. This opens her up as a sort of shop for holy items that we can use to synthesize with. After that, quickly back off to the cafe, take on a couple more jobs and clear them. We're also then lucky enough to meet Tess. This is also when we earn the trophy True or Not, and this is for buying a rumour from Horst. After the cafe, we then head back and Plakta remembers something. After this, we then run into the local American, and then we head off and start gathering. It's here where we get ambushed, which this earns us the trophy A Total Disaster. After this, we then head home and run into this game's version of the Shining Twins, Mechalith and Automata. Then, after that, you guessed it, more synthesizing. Then we run into Sophie's old friend, Loggy, who's the village blacksmith. Sophie then decides to tell the gang about the Cauldron of Knowledge, and we get a gun safety tutorial from Harold. We then meet Elise, who owns the bookstore. She tells us about her grandmother's book choices. We then have a game of hide and seek with the children of the orphanage from Pamela's church. And after finding all three of these, we complete that side quest. And once that is done, Elise comes over to visit Plakta, as she's a talking book. After that, we head off to the Forgotten Nursery to finally have a look for Oscar. This is where we're saved by the mysterious man, earning us the trophy Drastic Slash. Then, after returning home, we're met by the mysterious man again, who names himself as Julio. After that, we fill some more recipes out, back to regain some more memories, particularly one that she's over 500 years old. We then have another cutscene where Sophie realises potentially a new cauldron could help her craft some new items. And after that, we craft the Grandma's cauldron for her. We then meet our next party member to join the team, Leon. He also acts as the armor crafter for the game. And it's after this we then do a brief stint of grinding for some more recipes. Once we return home, we're given another cutscene where Sophie starts to really enjoy and appreciate alchemy. She goes on to explain that her grandmother is the main inspiration for her to become an alchemist. And after all that, we then get a cutscene where Monica tries to get Sophie to drink the Kool-Aid. And then after this cutscene, we head off and start grinding out with some new materials to synthesize some new items. Then, after all of this, we then get a knock off the door from the Jehovah's Witness herself, Monica. She's reminding us that it's been a week and we need to go to church. So after this, Sophie gives in to her demands and heads to church the following day to pray with Monica. After joining the cult with Monica, we do a few more missions, and then Horst actually offers us a promotion quest. After finishing that quest and a few others, we greet you with another cutscene. This is Monica and Julio having a sparring match and talking about the results of said match. After creating a friendly persona, we're given another cutscene where Plakta and Sophie talk about the benefits of this item. We then head to the bookstore where Elise tells us of a new location called the Prospectus Strand. And after heading to this new location and getting some new items for synthesizing, we start crafting again. It's after doing some crafting, Plakta then remembers that she was once an alchemist, and she also remembers that she was once human. After this, then Sophie runs into a mysterious individual walking around on the streets. We then head off, we do some more battling and gathering. Then we head back to town once again to find this mysterious individual. She announces herself as Cornea. She joins our party. Shortly after this, we once again end up doing everybody's favourite pastime, synthesizing yet more items. It's after that then we find out that Leon has opened her own store in the town. This is where we get to buy some armor as well as craft it. We then head into the blacksmith where we get our next achievement for custom made equipment. After crafting a few more items, including the new cauldron, we get another memory from Plakta, where she remembers that she's actually female. We then head to the church, where we speak to Pamela about what happened to the money that we give her in exchange for the items that we purchase. Then we head back outside of town to do some more exploring and gathering of items, and once we head home, we're greeted with another cutscene where Mechala and Automata ask us to create an item for them. We then head to the cafe where we have a cutscene where Host asks us to investigate a cabin that's got a mysterious voice coming from it. And like any true RPG gamer, we put that one to a side and start crafting. We then, instead of going there, we give Mechala and Automata the item they request. We also then have a chat with Leon as well as Corey. We then watch Julio call Oscar a fatty. We also have Leon visit the house to see how things are done around there. Then Plakta regains yet another memory. This time it's more about the Cauldron of Knowledge. We then visit Leon's shop to compliment her. We have a quick nose through our grandmother's diary, make some more items, and finally have Leon officially join our party. Sophie then makes time. We then make time to finally investigate this cabin, to which we find out there's actually a man inside the cabin making the noise. This earns us the owner of the voice trophy. We find out that his name is Fritz. And when we take Fritz back to the inn, he explains the whole situation to us. And after a while, gathering items and battling monsters, Fritz comes over and asks a favour for crafting some strings for him. After gathering the materials and crafting the strings for Fritz, we take it to him. We then pop to Harold's shop where we talk about his father and how he used to be a clockmaker. And at some point before this, Cornea had obviously joined our party as I was met with this cutscene. I then managed to craft a neutralizer R which had the trait for one-hit kill on it. This was very handy for bombs, so I decided to run over to Corey and register the item so I can purchase it for future use. This earned us the trophy, Please Corey. We then started a new habit of playing the piano. This will help us later on with the grindy trophy. Plakta then regains some memories that she used to practice alchemy with other people as well, not just by herself. After a while, Sophie then confronts Plakta about being unhappy. Plakta then goes on to express how she's worried on how much memory she's actually forgotten. This then makes Sophie express how she wants to help Placta regain every single one of her memories. After this, we then get a visit from Mekla and Automata. They're asking about the Cauldron of Knowledge. Once those two leave, we then get a visit from Harold. He's asking us if we can make some gunpowder for him. After completing this task, we head over to him, and he's actually quite impressed with the quality of gunpowder we've made. We then get a short cutscene where Placta is struggling to remember any of her memories. So we then head off around town asking people if they have any idea how we can help people regain their memories. What could trigger them? Sophie then gets the idea that Placta might be failing to remember things due to her still being a book. So she starts trying to work out how to turn her back into a human. This initially goes horribly wrong, earning us the trophy, "The project failed." After the attempt failed, Sophie talks to Fritz, which gives her the idea that Placta could potentially become a doll rather than actually turning her into a human. Sophie then heads home and tells Placta all about the idea she's just gotten from Fritz. She then nips out and speaks to Leon, Harold and Julio to see if they can help at all, and she runs over to Fritz and asks if he can build a body that Placta can use. After a few days, Fritz comes back to us and he explains that he needs a specific type of clay for the doll's body, and gives us the blueprints to craft them. We then get a visit from Monica, who gives us a gift. This earns us the trophy, "A Happy Present." After making the clay for Fritz, we hand it over to him so we can immediately start making the doll for Placta's body. He then realises that he will need multiple spirit needles to move Placta's soul into the doll, which we then have to ask Corey for assistance with duplicating the spirit needles. Then after waiting a few in-game days, everything started falling into place, and all the items were delivered. All we had to do now was to transfer Placta's soul from the book into the doll, which that earns us the trophy, "A Close Friendship." And after that, we then get a cutscene with the Shining Twins looking very ominous in the background. We then rest for 3 days, which earns us the trophy, "Sleepyhead." And after a little while, Leon comes to the house to give Sophie a pair of clothes, earn the trophy, "A New Self." We then practice the piano a little bit more, and we get another cutscene where Placta remembers that she was in a fight over something important, but she couldn't quite remember what it was. After that, Julio comes over to make a request. This is to make medicine for a friend. And once we've made that medicine for Julio, we head over to the new area by the name of the Sealed Temple. And it's in this dungeon that we meet Nazareth, Julio's friend. His hand has been infused with the power of a monster, and it's at this point that Nazareth turns into a monster and disappears into the depths of this dungeon. For now, we have to leave him down there as we don't have the incense that are required to bring him back to his human form. After heading home, I then find out that you can actually modify Placta's body. This nets us 2 more trophies, a change of mood, and Placta with delight. After this, we continue on battling, collecting some new items, filling out the recipe book, so on. I then began to farm items that would be used to craft new armour. These items would have traits on them that would significantly increase my attack, defense, and speed bonuses. Once I'd gathered enough of those items, I then crafted some cloth that had these all-stat enhancements on them. I then started playing around with the enhancing of weapons and armour. This earned me the trophy, "Suitable and Strong Equipment." After a few more quests, I ended up popping into the bookstore where I bumped into Elise without her glasses. This earned me the trophy, "Without Glasses." I then took some time to play some more piano, synthesize a few more items. I got asked by Monica to make some snacks for her while she sings. And we all know what that means. Yep, you guessed it, even more crafting. Then, after creating enough cookies that would even make Greg's blush, we finally get the trophy, Monica singing on the stage, which is the first of 2 missable trophies. After this, we get a few short missions with Corey, where we get the trophy, "It's an Ogle." After this, we continue on then, hunting down items, battling monsters, crafting, and even doing more requests for Horst. This is where I earned the "I Can Do Anything" trophy for reaching the highest quest rank. I then discovered there's a gold variant of slime. These can give me a significant amount of money, especially on the higher difficulties. So after a while, I earned the Saving Enthusiast trophy, which is to earn over 100,000 coal. Then after heading home, I get a cutscene where Placta remembers the location of the Cauldron of Knowledge. We carry on hunting down items and battling monsters. At this point, I earned the trophy, "The Expert Adventurer." This is for reaching the maximum adventurer level. It was shortly after this I then ran into what is probably one of the most annoying enemies in the game, the Rainbow Slime. Mainly because the attacks that you do to him deal very little damage unless you manage to actually break the slime. It was while farming for Rainbow Slime Fluid that I unlocked the trophy, "A Deadly Blow," which is unlocked by executing a special attack. After grinding out a few more recipes in the book, I managed to craft the incense that was required to bring Nazareth back to his human form. After that, I jumped into battle against Nazareth, earning the monstrous left hand. After getting Nazareth to go back to his human form, I once again carried on getting on with collecting items, crafting and playing some piano. I then found out that Pamela is actually a ghost, and then I earned the trophy for touching a barrel. After this, I head back down to the dungeon where I defeated Nazareth. He's also there, and he explains that there's an entrance into another world. This will be more relevant towards the end of the video. Because once again I began to craft some more items, I started battling some more monsters, purchasing items from shops, and it was at this point that I earned the trophy, Sister's Smile. This is to reach the target figure that the church needs to make repairs. I then head over to the cafe, hand in a few more requests, I play a little bit more piano. I then pop over to see Loggy. This then earns me the Loggy's Firm Will trophy. This is to see him setting his goals in life. I then head over to Harold's clock shop and I see him repairing a clock. This earns me the trophy, Repaired Clock. We then head back home where we get a short cutscene that Sophie believes the cauldron is talking to her. I'm pretty sure she's been on the special brownies. I then started crafting some more items and earned the Expert Alchemy trophy. This is for getting the maximum level for alchemy. It was after this I then crafted the Key of Truth. This unlocks a cutscene where Placta has a bad feeling after unlocking the Gates of Wisdom. But once again, in true RPG fashion, we do anything but go there. We end up going to the lake, earning us the Recreation at the Lake trophy for having a good time with Leon. And after that important work, we finally head off to the Cauldron of Knowledge, to which we get a cutscene where Placta warns Sophie not to allow Mechalith and Automata to acquire it. It's due to them being an alchemist that over 500 years ago that Placta fought. And when you know it, as soon as you show up, Mechalith and Automata show up and take the Cauldron of Knowledge, earning the Cauldron of Knowledge trophy. Maybe the beach day wasn't the best idea. We then finish up the questline for Oscar, earning us the Reliable Guy Oscar trophy. We also finish off grinding out everyone's friend levels to 100 to earn the Good Friend trophy. I then head over and play the piano for one final time, as this earns us the Best Pianist trophy. I then sleep for the night, head back to the cafe to find Horst playing the piano. This earns the Horst Surprising Talent trophy. After this, I then head over to Tess and purchase the date ticket, which earns us the Date with Tess trophy. I then head over to the Library of All Creation, and this is where Luard is. So I begin making my way through the dungeon, and at the end of the dungeon we try and persuade Luard to not use alchemy for anything but good. But ultimately this fails and leads us to fight him, and at the end of that fight we get the trophy, Arbelation Alchemist. We get a scene where he splits back into Automata and Mechalith, and the Cauldron of Knowledge disappears. I then head back home where we get a couple of cutscenes and trophies for After a Battle and a challenge from Placta, which is the final missable trophy I need. After this began the tedious task of checking the rumour board. This involves me speaking to Horst, then resetting the rumour board by sleeping for 2 days and checking again. This took a considerable amount of time as it was purely down to luck. After this, then I was granted the prerequisite for the first set of bosses. So I accepted them, headed over to the Sun Moor, touched the stone, and went back. After a couple of days then sleeping again, I was given the actual rumour to fight them. So I headed over, touched the stone again, and battled the Shadow Dragon, earning the Shadow Dragon trophy. After that then, it was a simple thing of running across the map, touching the other stone, and battling the Sunlight Dragon to earn the Sunlight Dragon trophy. After this, I then had to play yet again the waiting game at Horst's Calf. Eventually I did get the chance to fight the Light Elemental sub-boss. This proved to be slightly more challenging than the dragons, but it was still pretty much a pushover due to the items I crafted, and this earned me the trophy, the Incarnation of Light. And with that I'm down to the final super boss, the Demon Lord. So eventually I went down, spoke to Horst, got the rumour I needed, and headed on to the next dungeon, which you may remember from the previous conversation with Nazareth at the end of the dungeon. You then meet the Demon Lord and quickly realise during this battle that it was not going to be as easy as the previous bosses. I quickly found out the hard way by dying again, and again, and again. So after those defeats, I then spent the next few hours crafting new weapons and armour for the group, as well as making modifications to Placta's body via the doll making mode. After doing some heavy crafting, it was time for me to give it another attempt, and this time I was actually successful, which was a pleasant bonus as beating him earned me the Cruel Violator trophy. With all the super bosses out of the way, I now only have one trophy remaining to earn this platinum, and it was just to get one single recipe crafted in the recipe book. And after a quick Google, I realised that to do this, I had to fill Sophie's defensive chain gauge. So I jumped back into a library of all creation and put everyone into a defensive stance. I just waited then for the chain gauge to build up to 300%. And with that done, now I head back home and register the recipe into the book to earn the Master of Inspiration trophy, followed straight away by the Platinum, the Alchemist of the Mysterious Book. I spent about 42 hours in the world of Atelier Sophie. Honestly, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Gameplay, it was pretty satisfying once you get past that initial headache of it feeling a bit like Tetris, where you're trying to fit things in, get it just right. But once you start unlocking things like the Tin Cauldron, you can rotate them and stuff like that, and it does become a lot easier. I will also say I did look up a guide and managed to craft a bomb that basically created one-hit kill. And that did make combat silly, especially when you combine the armor that I had with traits that boosted stats to the point that if it did manage to survive the one-hit kill, it pretty much only did 1 HP damage to me. So as a whole, it was pretty simple up until the Demon King. That was a little bit more silly, but if they did that a little bit more, I'd have been really happy with the combat. You know, I'd have liked that staggered into it, where it wasn't just a case of as soon as you craft this item, you're done. You can, like, you know, tap dance through this up until the Demon King. But like I say, as a whole, combat, you know what you're getting into with an RPG. Story-wise, it's your typical anime power of friendship. Sophie, you know, she starts off barely really knowing anything, slacking off with the alchemy front. But then obviously after she meets Placta in the book form, she then spends a majority of her time trying to help her, which develops her alchemy further and, you know, gives her a bit of a kin friendship with her deceased grandmother. I don't know if that's the right wording for it, but it is what it is. I did find it dragged a little bit on the side story front. I did find I was hammering X to skip past cutscenes in the end. Soundtrack-wise, though, really good. The battle music reminded me somewhat of Final Fantasy 13, which I know some people absolutely hate that game. But if you love it or hate it, you've got to admit the battle theme. That is a quality song. I said the intro music very much reminded me of Jobless Reincarnation. I don't know why, it just did. But I fell in love with the music from basically that intro video. Really good. But I say, game, no bugs, issues like that. Didn't run into anything like that throughout my entire run. But I have got to come down to the one singular annoyance, RNG. There was a couple of times where I was trying to do, you know, the rumors and request boards, and you've got to wait for it, particularly the super bosses. There was one point when I tried to do the Demon King, and I forgot to equip an item. So I had to restart the game to re-equip that item before I go battle him, because I've had a theory on my hands that if I could do it, you know, I might do it. And I said, did it in 2 rolls, got the Demon King mission. Well, hey, lovely. Went in, did that, realised I didn't have the item, restarted the game. 45 minutes in, I could not get it for the life of me. I spent Christ knows how long just running back and forth that cafe just on the final few bosses. On a whole, though, it is a very chilled JRPG. Got a great soundtrack, and it's definitely one of those ones. If you want a platinum trophy that isn't going to beat you down, it's, you know, it's going to be rewarding though still. Once you finish it, you know, there's that sigh of relief, it's over. As I say, as a whole, I would give Atelier Sophie a 7 out of 10. Fun game. Rumour board does ruin your day, though. And just like that, my first platinum run is in the bag. I'd like to thank you all for sitting here and watching through all this. It's probably been one hell of a slog. It's not a short video by any estimations. But I say this is my first like full magnitude video. I know I've done a video where I go over a state of play before now on the channel, but this has been quite a learning curve for editing and stuff like that. So if anyone does have any tips or tricks they'd like to share with me, feel free to drop a comment down below with anything, as well as if there's any suggestions people would like to see me platinum next. I'm happy to have a listen and see if there's anything there. But thank you for sticking around.